What's cooking, Gumbo Nation? Hey, welcome to another of my favorite segment, and this is the Realtor Spotlight. Super excited to have in studio today to introduce how awesome he is. I love working with him. He's fantastic. Brandon Roberson. He's the man, 504-616-4126. Hey, Brandon, I know we had to reschedule a few times.
Right.
Would love to say it's because just so busy, couldn't get over here, but you have obligations, man, to the family, and I know we had some little ones sick, a little bit of the crud going around, right? And, that, Lord knows, that's been happening quite a bit, but everybody's good now, right?
Yeah, man, everybody's good, with a three-month-old at home. We just want to make sure we play our cards right.
You got to, man. Yeah, no doubt about it. So, man, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And so tell us, look, I know how awesome you are. I know how great you are with the clients and all that fun stuff. And we're going to get into that. But just kind of tell us a little bit of your history and, hey, how you got into became a realtor and into the real estate industry.
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of grew up around it my whole life. My mom's been a realtor for as long as I can remember. I started dabbling in it about 7-8 years ago, just more on the wholesale side, doing some fix and flips myself. And then I just enjoyed it so much, I just went out and got my license. And my mother-in-law was also a realtor, so it's just kind of a family affair,
There you go.
So yeah, man, we just kind of.
So you're second generation realtor, right? You get those second generation roofers and builders.
Right.
You're second generation realtor, man.
Right.
That's awesome, dude. So let's kind of chat about that, because 7 years you were in what was, I guess, considered normal times.
Yep.
Then you came into. Our hair was on fire. Well, yours, not mine.
Right.
Was on fire, right? When COVID hit, right, with the pandemic. So, and now we're into a little bit of a stranger market. And one of the things I talk about on Mortgage Gumbo all the time is that real estate is local, right? So, kind of tell me from your perspective as a realtor who's out there, right? I get to meet a lot of the clients through Mortgage Gumbo. They contact me, or when you send me a buyer and we're working with somebody. Kind of tell me, you're out in the trenches, so to speak, a lot more, right? So what would you say is the biggest change that you've noticed over the last 6-8 months?
Man, honestly, Dwayne, it's got to be insurance, bro. So insurances are killing deals, man. It's just high. They're just high. We got one carrier, it's freaking Citizens.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with that? You're going to get high insurance. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
So I hear there may be some more coming back around May. Some more companies coming in. There's some old companies that left are restarting up. So I think it's going to change. But right now, it's definitely the insurance for sure.
Well, and I think the thing with insurance, I compare insurance to almost like gas prices. Quick to go up.
Yeah.
Takes a little longer for that gas price to come back down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think insurance, and I'm glad you bring that up, because we were kind of talking, last week with a client and kind of explaining, Brandon, how the rates, I think people are accepting the rates.
Yeah.
The 2.5%, the 3%.
That was a unicorn.
It's over, right?
Yeah.
The oasis dried up, walking through the desert, hoping to find that 4-leaf clover. That's over. Now, do we think rates are going to recede again? Yes, right? There's no doubt about it. But with that being said, I think as rates are kind of starting to be palatable, a little bit more digestible, that insurance has continued to be a little bit of a thorn. I know we had a buyer that we're working with on a $250,000 house. The premium came back at $12,000 because of roofs. And that's just, they're deal killers, right? Like we talked about. So with that being said, explain what your buyers, or you do a ton of listings. You're a fantastic listing agent. So what should buyers or sellers know that maybe they're not expecting? First-time home buyers or somebody that's going to list their house.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us from your side, man.
So I'm just going to piggyback off that insurance deal. Before you make an offer on a property, if you're on the buyer side, get an insurance quote. Go ahead and know what the insurance is going to be, because if we get under contract and then you wait until 2 weeks to lock in your insurance and it comes back at $12,000, it's over.
Yeah.
You're not paying that. It may just knock you out of the market altogether.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then on the seller's side, you have to be realistic. You have to know the insurances are higher people are going to be paying more of a premium, so you're not going to get as much on the selling side. And I like to set my clients up, set them up front, and just say, hey, this is just where we're at. We're just going to, you're not going to get 2020 prices, 21 prices. You're not getting 50 grand over the asking. That's just, we're not there anymore. So I think the setup is the best on that, but it's the insurances again.
So would you say really what I think what I'm hearing, because I'm amazed that, in 20 and 21, Brandon, and you're a second-generation realtor, so you know this, with that experience, people were able to sort of just hammer a sign in a yard.
That's right.
And get an offer. And you were able to go, hey, listen, it hit the market at Tuesday at 12. We're going to take all final offers by 4 o'clock on Thursday.
Right.
And it's
or
done.
Before.
Or before. Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of things will be in sight unseen. You didn't have those contingencies. So what you're saying, I think, and what helps you give that edge to the clients is the expectation. You set the expectation, right?
For sure.
Because people have to understand, and I joke about this with a lot of clients that I talk to, or when somebody calls me about helping them with listing a home, the buyer doesn't care that little Johnny might have used the restroom for the first time or walked for the first time in that house.
That's right.
Right? So there's emotion there lots of times when people are selling houses. But as a professional, as a realtor, you've got to kind of dial that in and go, hey, listen, here's what the market is today.
That's right. Yep.
And so are you seeing more of full price offers, buyer or sellers really having to understand, because you represent both sides.
Yep.
More full price offers, but maybe some contingencies on seller paid closing costs. Kind of tell us what you're seeing from both sides there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a lot of what we've been doing here recently. It's not really a buyer's market. It's not really a seller's market.
It's crazy,
right?
Huh?
It's somewhere weird in between. So a bunch of times it's more of like the full price or $5 grand off, and then the seller's throwing in some contingencies on top, some concessions.
Well, and what are you seeing with your sellers, the ones that you're getting? On Mortgage Gumbo, we talk about all the time. We have what I call the 4 Ds, which is death, debt, divorce, and distance, meaning relocation. Those are the folks who are the existing home sellers who are selling. Is that kind of what you see as well when people are giving you a call?
Yeah, absolutely. So one we're about to list in Kenner, it's going to be $380. They're moving. They're leaving. They're relocating, going out of state.
Yep.
So they've been here, new job opportunity, and so they really don't have a choice but to sell. And they don't want to rent. They don't want to lease it out.
Correct.
So
right.
So that's
especially one property, right? I mean, that's kind of tough. And then you're not boots on the ground. Look, I've had those investment properties that even if you're a town away, it's hard to manage those,
that's
right? And especially when you got one. So for you and for your clients, we've had the chance to work together on several deals. Kind of take us through what the typical home buying process, if somebody's to call you and go, hey, I want you to represent me, I want you to be my buyer realtor. What does that process typically look like for you?
Well, if I've never met you, first we're going to meet up for coffee, because I want to I want to shake your hand. I want to say, hello, what's going on? I'm Brandon. Here's what you're going to get with me. So, the process is pretty easy, Dwayne. I work my tail off for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take care of everything. People tell me, they're like, oh my God, you took care of that? I'm like, yeah, bro, I've already called the title company. I've already taken care of, I've already called Dwayne.
Yeah.
Take care of the lending part. We're squared.
Yeah.
Just let me do the heavy lifting. Let me do the dirty work. And that's what I kind of pride myself on. I'm trying to get me like a little slogan, and I'm going with real estate made easy.
Right.
Right. That's it. It's simple.
And I think what's awesome about when I work with you and with your buyers is not only is the expectation set, but me and you, when we met a long time ago, kind of agreed that people hire us.
That's right.
Right? They're hiring you to be there to represent. You're the professional. People hire me to be their lender. And I tell them all the time, you can ask all the questions in the world. Don't sometimes they go, I'm sorry, I have to ask that question. Oh my gosh, no. Don't feel bad. This is what I do. I work for you. And you kind of have that blue collar mentality too, like, hey, we're going to get you the answers you need when you need them. And that's where your team comes in when, hey, you're working with me, your title, your insurance. And we kind of put that together for the client because it's all about the experience, right?
That's right.
We want them to make that experience good because then they'll come back. And I think that's what I think the frustration part for me is, just the unfortunate part right now of we can't control insurance.
Yeah.
right? We can't control what the Fed's doing with rates, right? But what we can control is service. And I know you do that as good as anybody else. So, you are amazing on how you stay in touch with your clients, whether they're whether they're prospects, whether they've closed with you. Kind of talk about that, sort of that after the sale. You know what I mean? Is that something you handle yourself? Do you have a program you use? Kind of tell us how you manage that, man.
Okay, you ever heard that old thing, KISS?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid?
Yes,
all right, that's
absolutely,
it.
yeah.
Okay, here's what goes down, all right? So y'all take notes on this, all right? At closing, I go into my iPhone, and I look at my calendar, and I set closed with Bob Joe, right, on this day. Reminder, 3 months, repeat. That's it, bro.
That's it, right. So
it comes across, I get a ding on my phone.
I love it.
I'm like, oh, I got to call Bob today.
I love it.
Hey, Bob, hey, it's Brandon. And here's the trick. You're not calling to ask for business.
No.
You're calling to say, hey, man, how you been doing? How's your mama and them?
To know you're still there. All those things you promised prior to the sale, all those promises on why to use you, you deliver on.
I want to build a friendship, right?
Yeah.
Right? You know, if we go get coffee or go get drinks or go get dinner or you hang out with my wife, like I want to have some meat and potatoes in the relationship.
And I think that's so important because so many people out there look at everything as transactional. Transactional is how the money gets paid, how the mortgage gets done, how the baby gets fed. But at the end of the day, we are results driven, and we're service oriented. And our job as a lender, and I know the quality realtors out there like yourself, job is to make sure that we are providing a service and doing what we say. Right? I mean, that's the biggest thing there, because everybody, and for those listening, you may not know if you're meeting Brandon or you're catching this for the first time, everybody in the world thinks they could be a lender or a realtor, right? I call it the drunken uncle syndrome. That drunken uncle at Thanksgiving who, builds scaffolds for a living, and that's a great, honorable living, can give you advice. He's never been a homeowner, can tell you how to buy a house, how to, how to sell your house, all those kind of things, man. So as we head out of the first quarter of 2023, and we start moving forward into this year, you being with EXP, kind of tell us and tell the audience, what is the outlook from your standpoint or y'all's standpoint? Because I think I can preach it all day long, but I want listeners to hear it from the other side, right? What is y'all expectation? What are you seeing or thinking? And then we could always throw out the hoping, right? We'd hope that the Fed, oddly enough, while we're doing this, the Fed today is going to be chatting, right? So what is sort of EXP, what is y'all mentality or y'all focus as you move forward?
I know a lot of it's kind of like what you already hit on. So relocation, right? So everybody within EXP, they've started doing relocation, more relocation. EXP's opened up a new relocation division, and they've also opened up unfortunately, an REO division. And so they're doing free training for all their agents. So I've already been through. I'm certified for the REO stuff now, which is the bank-owned property. If you own the REO, it means
real estate owned.
Real estate owned.
Right. So what that is somebody's going bad, going south. Hey, Brandon's going to come in and try to salvage that and try to get as much sold, maybe on somebody had to give back a property or something like that.
So that's kind of the direction it's going, right? So as far as EXP is concerned, they're just gearing their agents up and getting us ready for that market shift. But that's going to happen. Unfortunately.
I mean, you are going to have delinquencies are going to come into play. They're not going to do with mortgages like they've done for student loans, where you just keep kicking a can down the road. Don't worry about it, right? And I think what we're going to see is, rates are going to recede. And that's why, Brandon, I think, and look, see if you agree with me or not, but that's why I think right now, even though rates at the end of the year may be a little bit less, why right now is such a good time to buy, because I could come to Brandon's buyer, Brandon's seller, who has to sell right now because of distance, this house you're putting on the market. They don't want to be dealing with this thing, right? So they're going to be aggressive. You're going to know what that number is. So the contingencies, the seller's willing to give. The buyer can get some wins too. And what we're seeing here at Mortgage Gumbo is they're digesting that rate and understanding we can always refinance later.
That's right.
Right? So when buy that house that Brandon's got at 380 And then when everybody's coming out of the woodworks in 6-8 months, right? And his neighbor's now selling that same house for 420. You're refinancing, gaining back that equity, and taking advantage there.
Right. And then those buy downs that we do all the time.
The buy downs
That's
are fantastic.
huge,
That's a tremendous thing. And what I want people to understand is for every 1% that an interest rate goes down, 5 million more people become eligible.
Oh, wow.
So for every 1%, so while we wanted those rates to go down, and they will, all we're doing is bringing back that much more competition. Like we were talking about before. Hey, I got over $10 million in buyers right now who are like, I'm waiting on the rates, I'm waiting on the rates. They're all going to be eating each other up because they're all going to be fighting for one of your listings 6 months down the road that you're going to tell your seller, hey, look how much I can get for you now. Right? So, man, with that being said, what's the best way for people, Brandon, to get in touch with you and kind of, if they want to obtain your services?
Right. Hey, just shoot me a text or give me a phone call. 504-616-4126.
Man, you are a rock star.
Thanks,
you
man.
keep it real, dude. I think that's why we get along, and I have no doubt my audience is going to love you as well. Hey, listen, if you need a guy, this guy's as good as anybody out there. Brandon Roberson, 504-616-4126. Or you can reach out to me here at Mortgage Gumbo, and I'll get you in touch with him as well. He'll go anywhere. The guy works for you. He'll roll up the sleeves and get it done for you. Brandon, appreciate you coming in, my man.
Thanks for having me,
and hey, we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, man.
Yep.